All right, guys. So Hillary Clinton slams cruelty of Arizona abortion law in emotional interview with Kelly Clarkson. So this.
So she's talking about people who actually have the abortion, that they're cruel if they have it, right?
No, she's not saying that.
No, she's not saying.
Kelly Clarkson had an interview with Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton. I don't know. I'm just reading the headline here.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a So obviously this is a big talk that this law goes back to, reverting to a law from the 1800s. So therefore it's bad, that outlaws nearly all abortions in the state of Arizona. So people are saying that this is
so because it goes back to 1800s, all laws in the 1800s are outdated.
They're bad. They're wrong, I guess.
So apparently,
including the laws against slavery.
Were they even written in English?
Mid 1800s.
Yeah.
So,
if it's not new, we don't want it.
Against homicide and theft in the 1800s. So
yeah, there weren't there?
I'm just saying, just on the basis of that, it's an old law, therefore it's a bad law. This is ridiculous.
Well, I do think it's interesting how now we're seeing certain who would consider themselves conservative politicians, when all of a sudden this doesn't become politically expedient, they're jumping off and like, oh, I'm against abortion. I'm not really against abortion, though. When all of a sudden Roe versus Wade was overturned, surprisingly, just a few years ago, and then it went to the states. So it's fascinating. So one of the things that did come up is people were saying like now women in crisis pregnancies are going to get killed because they can't have abortions. All these women are going to die.
We three white men.
I agree.
Priests, we're going to get crucified for this.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yep.
That's all right.
For this.
The truth is the truth.
Really be talking
and the
about
only
it,
reason why I would ever say anything about this is because every single human life has dignity.
Correct.
And the dignity of a human life does not depend on where that life is, or on how old it is, or on how powerful it is, or how rich it is, or the color of its skin.
Because there's a lot
How it was created. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single person has infinite dignity, and I have no right to impose violence on another human person, especially the weakest among us, which would be unborn baby. And no person does, actually. So anyway, so yes, I'm saying that as myself, as a white Catholic priest man. Praise God that the truth is the truth. It doesn't depend on who says it.
Human beings have rights, inalienable rights, regardless of location,
endowed by the law, endowed by their creator. Right? That's what it's about.
That's right.
So just saying that. So when people say that, like, oh, now women are going to die because of this, recognize that's not true. So abortion never saves a life. Abortion does not save a life.
It always takes a life.
It always takes a life. It never saves a life. That there are saved, like an ectopic pregnancy. There are procedures for the removal of that, which is not an abortion. And so recognizing that this thing that keeps getting put forward as this is
I think a lot of
killing people.
This is the things they throw in there. Is the things that are the exceptions that are not what it's technically considered abortion. So they throw these things in there and they say, see, and then they turn people who might say, yeah, we need an abortion ban, and say, well, but not in that case.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's just, that's the whole thing. Is like there's been so much confusion because language has been shifted intentionally to incorporate things. And probably some of the people who are listening or might be watching right now, like the Catholic Church's understanding of a abortion is the direct removal of a fetus from the womb. Right.
Or direct killing.
The direct killing of a fetus, of a viable fetus from the womb. So a taking of a fetus from the womb that is not viable, right, which is not understood to be an abortion. Also, a fetus which is found in the fallopian tubes and implants.
Removing the tubes in order to save life.
Is not considered. That's what I'm saying. So, like the medical definition, oftentimes is very, very broad. That anything which is the removal of a fetus from the female body is considered an abortion, versus the very narrow definition, which is what we work from, is that more narrow definition of that an abortion is the direct removal of a viable fetus from the womb, or the direct killing of it.
Yes.
But this idea is from the 1800s. I mean, they're actually saying more than what you think they are, or more than what's on the surface there. I mean, it's almost like they're saying, they are saying these people are archaic. They don't understand. They don't have the same morals that we do. It's almost a modernist argument to say this type of thing, so that you can kind of advance the arguments. Same thing we say about like the Dark Ages, and same thing we say about in biblical times and going back even further. And so it's kind of a bit of a red herring to even mention that this law's from the 1800s. It's been on the books for that long. Why are we doing this?
That's why I'm mocking it a little bit, because just because a law is old does not make it illegitimate.
Right.
Archaic laws are laws.
Uneducated.
Ideally, because they transcend time, because they're true. Right, and so that just because it's old, that's a false argument. Like, if you want to argue against it on other grounds, that's fine, but you can't. It's a false argument to argue against it just because it's old. That's ridiculous.
It's also too that if since 1864, if our understanding of back then they thought that there was a human life in the womb, and that you can't kill it, you can't can't have an abortion, whatever their concept of abortion was at that time. If since that time, scientifically, because of our advancements, we've recognized, oh, no, it's not actually a human life. We thought that was a baby swimming around in there, and it's not. It's something else. But quite the opposite. Everything scientifically, in fact, we can do surgery on preborn babies now in the womb. The fact that, babies can be born at incredibly early, and we can save their lives because of scientific breakthroughs, to recognize, this is a human life from conception. And we did not make that. We don't have the rights over this. This is something that reality, that person has been endowed from their Creator with an inalienable right of life. Starts with life. So again, scientifically, it's proven quite the opposite. So to say that we're going back to this old law is basically to say oh man, we need to go to laws that actually back up the science here. We need to follow the science when it comes to abortion, which means that's a human baby. That is a human baby. It's not something else. It's not some other. It's at an early stage of development.
It's not a cucumber.
If we believe that, then we're going to be consistent.
A cat's not going to come out of the womb.
Yep.
No, that's right.
A vegetable is not going to come out of the womb. No,
Absolutely.
It's going to be a human being. Now, yeah.
And so our laws, I think, if we want to be consistent with our laws, should protect that baby. Should also protect the mother. But again, should protect the baby too, and we say that we can love and protect both, and that's what we need to be about.